Whether you're a fan of the Big Mac, McNuggets, or shakes, there seems to be something for everyone at McDonald's. And ignoring the obesity debate, it's hard to get angry at a restaurant that pushes love and happiness in not only its jingle, but in the name of the meals that it serves to children. Yet, there are some dark corners of McDonald's that makes their meals not so happy. And we're going to shed some light on a few of them today. We're going to be taking a hard look at the company behind the Golden Arches, their darker actions specifically, and it's important to keep in mind that these are allegations, many of which have not received any comment from the McDonald's Corporation. This is the Dark Chronicles. The dark practices of McDonald's. If you want to know if a company is worth your patronage, simply look at how they treat their employees, which unfortunately for those who work at certain McDonald's restaurants isn't very good. In 2019, the McDonald's Corporation settled a wage theft lawsuit for $26 million in a legal battle that started way back in 2013. 4 workers took part in the lawsuit, though they represented over 38,000 McDonald's workers from various positions across restaurants in the state of California. The group accused the company of withholding pay through unpaid overtime, meal and rest breaks, and even uniform cleaning, which was not previously reimbursed, despite the demand for clean, ironed uniforms even after working in greasy and often smoke-filled situations. In addition to the $26 million, McDonald's was ordered to make a number of changes to their day-to-day operations, including granting employees the proper breaks that they should have rightfully have been receiving at proper times that they should have been happening at. Also, granting an additional 1 hour of pay if the employee is forced to miss their meal break, and providing additional training to new employees so that they're more aware of their own rights. Unfortunately, this is far from the only time the company was accused of wage theft. A report released in 2013 revealed that around 84% of fast food employees working in New York City restaurants, including McDonald's, actually earned less than their stated contracted wages. Elizabeth Wren, a cashier for McDonald's in New York, claimed that she, like thousands of others, had to stay late and come in early to count her cash drawer before and after her shift, neither of which at the time were paid hours. Calculating the time that she spent working for free, it was estimated that she was losing over $75 a month. Alarmingly, in March of 2015, 28 health and safety complaints were filed across 19 different cities, but all of them against McDonald's. These complaints came from workers who had suffered severe burns to their limbs and bodies while on the job, burns which they attributed to excessive understaffing of the restaurants that they worked at, and increasing pressure from management to work faster and harder. Unfortunately, despite the many injuries to their employees, restaurants were horribly under-equipped when it came to first aid supplies, so for many of the incidents, the injured were advised to use condiments on their wounds. At one particular restaurant in Chicago, Illinois, a worker named Brittany Berry slipped and burned her arm on a hot grill. Instead of calling an ambulance or even just applying ointment, her manager instructed her to apply mustard on the affected area. Having good sense, Berry ignored the instruction and called an ambulance herself, only to learn that her injury had resulted in nerve damage that would have been far worse had she chosen the mustard option. However, due to these actions, Berry ended up missing 3 weeks of work without pay. And this kind of ridiculous solution is suggested far more than you might think. Research has shown that of the many fast food employees who were severely burned at work, around 33% of them were told to use mustard, butter, or even ketchup to treat it, instead of the more widely trusted burn cream that should have been standard at the restaurant's safety kit. Sadly, it's a fact that more than just a few McDonald's restaurants have just an empty box as their first aid kit. In 2002, McDonald's was forced to publicly apologize and admit that they had misled their customers, especially those who were both vegetarian and believed that the restaurant's French fries and hash browns were free of meat and meat byproducts. Way back in 1990, McDonald's announced that they would no longer use beef fat to cook their world-famous fries in, claiming that from then on, more pure vegetable oil would be used. And while that may have been the truth, what was omitted was that the fries themselves aren't vegetarian to begin with. They're actually partially cooked before distribution, having a beef flavoring that's added so that they taste the same as they always have. In 2001, the first lawsuits regarding these claims were filed in Seattle, Washington by 3 vegetarians, including 2 Hindus who didn't consume meat products due to their religious beliefs. But they had still eaten McDonald's fries, believing them to be safe. But thousands more were outraged over being misled for so long. To settle the lawsuits filed against them, the McDonald's Corporation agreed to donate $10 million to Hindus and other groups behind them. If fast food commercials didn't make you hungry for a cheeseburger, fries, or anything else the company behind the ad wishes to sell you, then those companies would be replacing their marketing teams pretty quickly. But there's a big difference between seeing a juicy burger on TV that you can actually go out and purchase and seeing one that's genuinely too good to be true. Such has been the case with the Golden Arches, which has a track record of showing items that are a little too perfect, while delivering items that cannot live up to their own hype. There are some tricks in photography in most photo and video shoots, and most of the items that you see displayed in commercials or in the digital menus inside restaurants are likely to be totally inedible for one reason or another. But for this practice, McDonald's actually isn't alone. 2 other fast food giants, Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers and Burger King, have been hit with false advertising lawsuits as well. In fact, between 2020 and 2022, over 200 class action lawsuits were filed against the companies for misleading the public in regards to portion sizes and other areas in which the restaurants show a delicious looking food item that in reality is not so delicious. McDonald's specifically was accused of misrepresenting the size of their burger patties, with many claiming the meat advertised is as much as 15 to 20% bigger than the meat the customers actually received. Additionally, they've been accused of arranging extra toppings and condiments in close-up photos so that the sandwiches appear larger and more filling, when fewer toppings are often used to make the real sandwiches. It's almost refreshing to hear that people are standing up for what they feel is right, in this case by speaking out when billion-dollar corporations grow their bottom lines through deceiving their own customers. McDonald's is a fast food juggernaut and many of their products are genuinely tasty. That's not what's up for debate here. What is the actions that the company have taken to mislead its customers, drive up the amount of overconsumption that takes place in their restaurants, and put the almighty dollar ahead of everything from food safety to the well-being of their own employees. And truthfully, we only managed to scratch the surface here, as the company has been accused of a number of awful deeds, including unnecessarily hurting livestock, running the original owners out of business, and even suing anyone who tries to use Mick in their company name. McDonald's has even been accused of racism, as they settled a lawsuit which claimed that they only gave certain black franchise owners undesirable locations and lied about their profitability. With all this, there's no wonder why so many dislike and even fear the Golden Arches. I guess it's just impossible to ignore the dark practices of McDonald's. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dark Chronicles. If you'd like to watch more from this series, you can click one of the links on screen right now, which will bring you to a playlist. And of course, please leave a like and a comment on this video. It helps me out tremendously with feedback and for the algorithm. And if you'd like to follow me on any socials, my links are in the description. Thanks again for watching.